All right, everybody, we're going to talk about, are we going back to school? As of now, in the update, it is January. Well, with the world having ended with the novel coronavirus, I don't even know what month it is. Sometimes it's how it feels. So it's July, mid-July, and we are talking about school starting or not starting, or starting in some fashion in September. Now we have 2 months till the beginning of school. So what I've heard so far is that there will be some. Let me backtrack. The message I got from the superintendent in my district is two main messages. There will be, in some form, a sizable percentage of school that will be digital, that will be long range, that will be distance learning. That was part of the message. The other message was they've started, and this is typical school bureaucracy, and I don't blame the superintendent for it because that's how the game is played. They've started a task force to figure out how to transition back to school in September 2020. Now, that sounds like wretched school bureaucracy, and there's all the double standard coronavirus hypocrisy, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I'm actually kind of lucky to be in a school district where you have a measured, slow, thoughtful, somewhat logical, linear path to going back to school in September. And I say that because our superintendent also mentioned that he's got to wait for whatever rules come down from the governor. And you know what? That's how the game is played. I'm in a government school, and there are rules that come down from the governor and the state education department that he has to, and I as a district employee have to follow. So it's actually, oddly enough, because there's a lot to not like about a place like where I work, but it's actually a nice thing to have that kind of measured, slow, thoughtful, reasonably reality-based decision-making process. And down in Virginia, my brother lives down in Virginia, and they have a governor who, according to my brother, has already said that the 2020-2021 school year will be all digital, in a sense that schools will be closed because of the coronavirus. Now, and that decision was made, I think, a month ago. Now, here's where we get into the coronavirus hypocrisy, hysteria, and the mask slipping off of the face of the tyrant and the clown coming into effect. It's been 8 to 10 weeks that the coronavirus death rate has fallen. Straight weeks in a row. It's 8 or 10 weeks as I say this to you now, and it's July, I think it's July 12th. And so this decision was made a month ago. Democratic Governor Ralph Northam, right, the guy who was either wearing a Klan hood or in blackface, still in the governor's position, still in the governor's seat. And nope, school closed. There really seems to be a kind of joy, a kind of glee attached to some of these people, generally to your Democratic liberal politicians, where they are enjoying forcing everybody to do destructive activities and using the bludgeon of, well, it's the coronavirus. Don't you know everybody's dying? So school is one of these things that's weird because the system, the indoctrination system of obey authority, listen to authority, do not think for yourself. Here is American history, which began in 1619, and the United States wouldn't exist if not for slavery. And all of these other things. Like American history in the progressive mold is slaves showed up in 1619, the Civil War freed the slaves, there was Jim Crow, and then coronavirus. That's American history to your garden variety progressive. That's it. Nothing else. So here's the weird part. In order to do that, you have to have children in school. If school children are at home, even if that's the stuff that they push out there in the curriculum online, it's not going to have any kind of staying power. It's not going to stick. I don't know about you, or maybe you've been asleep or living in a cave for the last 15 years, but when your average school kid goes on the laptop to go to quote unquote digital school, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They've got other tabs open to get answers, and not only that, they're not paying attention to the work. They're getting it done as quickly as possible, and then they're on their phone and in other tabs and communicating with 400 other people and on social media. I know that's a shock to many of you, but if you're trying to get this kind of historically ignorant 1619 project that the New York Times is pushing, and coronavirus is killing the world, current events lesson in social studies, it's not going to work digitally. So there's a weird setup now with school and children and our thought controllers and your kind of progressive, I guess, I hate using these terms because they're almost irrelevant these days, but your current progressive, liberal, Democrat, tyrannical, boot on the throat, mayor, governor person, you can't have school closed and get what we used to call the New World Order agenda out there. It won't work. And people are still, it's now been over a month since the Black Lives Matter quote unquote protests, riots, looting sprees. And two things. One is, there are people that would hate that I say this. If I were a major public figure, I'd get in trouble. I mean, you can't fire me, so I don't really care. But since those happened, now, and this plays a role in school too. Everybody's looking at it like, hey, wait a minute. We can protest against systemic racism, but we can't send our children to school? Now, I work in the black neighborhood. There were protests and there were things going on in Mount Vernon. And people saw that. And they saw it in New York City. And now our overlords are saying, you can't send your child to kindergarten. Or you can't send your 12th grader to senior year. And as we had our seniors miss prom and all these other wonderful things for seniors, they're going to now do it again. And yet they saw people protesting, no mask, no social distance, and get away with it. And no one said anything bad about it. Not only did no one say anything bad about it, you weren't allowed to criticize that. You got in trouble if you said anything other than, I'm going to bend the knee to Black Lives Matter. If you said all lives matter or anything else, and you had a vulnerable job or a position, you got pilloried. They went after you. And now you can't send your kid to first grade, and your senior daughter is going to miss graduation and prom after they already did it the previous year. And the death rate is going down. I mean, it just starts to add up so quickly that it's beyond belief. So, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, because if the people who are steering this ship, I don't think they understand that if you have distance learning, the big gigantic project of having a servile, bowing and scraping, ignorant population that will do as you say, that project goes into the toilet. And so what they're going to need to do is the calculus to say, is it worth it to move towards this globalist hegemony that we so crave, and let these politicians tell people that they can't go to work and tell the children they can't go to school anymore? So if I were running the New World Order, I wouldn't be happy. I'd want people to stop closing schools and things like that and say, look, we got to get the kids in school. We got to stop it, because our agenda of this one world, single order, globalist utopia is going to crash. And it is. So this one is going to be interesting. But as of now, for my district, it's completely up in the air if we go back. People will go back to quote unquote school, but how they'll go back, how much of it will be digital, and how it will look in terms of who's in the building, if anyone is in the building, and when they're there. So that's your update so far. And all of these positions are being jockeyed and bandied about, and everybody's reaching for their own power grab, just as they always have. And we'll just see how it plays out together. All right, so that's it for your note from school. I'm Doug Marola. I'll talk to you next time.